And then his family is tied into the famous black family out of Atlanta, the Bronners. And so when you look at what we were given, meaning uh, strong families and the history of the family, the Bronners are multimillionaires. You know, they uh, we went down. If I had, if we had some decent light here, I would show you the family four-way family reunion we had, and uh, and that included the Bronners, the Maddocks, the Jeffries, and I had it, the book, I, I had it right here. But see, when you're moving stuff around, that's what happens. But of the 100 kids we grew up with, 90 of us made it. And
Wow.
Sonny's sister, Dolores, she was helped to raise us. She was, and she became the head of Planned Parenthood in New Jersey. And my mother's oldest sister, uh, Vivian, she was our second mother. So she lived on 13th Street. We lived on 14th Street. And so you had her daughter was our third mother. And her name is Dorothy. Now I have it here, but you can't, we're not going
Wow,
to be
that's
able to.
amazing.
This is Dorothy, homegoing service for Dorothy Clarke. November the 6th, 1932 is when she was born. She died March the 7th, 2005. And she had a beautiful celebration of her life at the Wigan Funeral Home. That's that's one of the big funeral homes in New Jersey. But Dorothy Clarke was born November the 6th in Newark. The late Wilson and Eulala Vivian Booker, that's my mother's older sister. She departed this life March 17th at the Robert Wood Hospital, Broadway. She was the youngest of the three children. She received her elementary education at Roosevelt Avenue School. Wow. Now that's a mistake. I'm just discovering that. It's not Roosevelt, it's Roseville Avenue School. She graduated from Girls Vocational School,
Wow.
where she majored in secretarial studies. She was an honor student. Dorothy was first united in holy matrimony by the late Leroy Rogers, Sr., to whom three children were born. She later united in holy matrimony with the late Marcus Clarke. To this union, six children were born. And during her young adult years, she worked at Bamberger's department store in New Jersey. She worked as a secretary for over 40 years for her late husband's floor waxing business. She was known for her kind spirit and a gentle, loving and maturing. This is unbelievable. This is fantastic. She leaves to cherish her memory, the late Marcus Clarke Sr., two sons, Leroy and Marvin, five daughters, Elaine, Michelle, Loren, and Yvonne, one stepson, Marcus Clarke. I mean, otherwise, wow. And my mother was the one that made sure uh, all this family information was together. So,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
and the fellow across the street from us, uh, his name was, it's unbelievable, but his mother and father, when they got married, my mother and father stood as the best man and whatnot. His the family was the Spellmans, uh, Robert Spellman and his younger son James, and then he had a sister, Nancy. And Nancy went to Central State College in Ohio. And Spellman contacted my brother and said that my sister is going to Central State. That's your alma mater, and you need to make sure you take care of her. And so, and then his younger brother, James, was security for 3 U.S. presidents. And
Wow.
Spellman is Dr. Robert Spellman. I went to Africa in 1961. Spellman went to Africa in 1965. In other words, my going to Africa inspired him to go. He's been a teacher at Essex County Community College for the last 60 years.
Where did you go to Africa first? Which country?
First country was the Ivory Coast,
Oh, the West
1961.
Side.
Yes. And then
Now, how was it?
it was the most fantastic experience. In other words, we'll have to have a session just on us going to Africa. I mean, I became the leader of the group because this little white man who was the official leader, he really was an anthropologist. He didn't come to do no serious uh, meeting and working with black people. So I became the the group leader, and I also, well, he was German, so he spoke French, but I spoke French, so this was French speaking Africa, and so I have pictures of myself when we were trying to build the foundations for a schoolhouse. But Ivory Coast at that time was having its independence preparation for its independence celebration. And so that was fantastic. So we were spent a month or more in the Ivory Coast, and then we went on a 7 nation tour of West Africa that had us coming into Ghana
Wow.
next door. So uh, that introduction to Africa was uh, life changing. Now, my mother, she was Eastern Star, so she was involved in the African traditions. And then her, of course, W.E.B. Du Bois and all of them were Pan Africanists. So we got initiated into this stuff at a early, early age.